In this episode of EFT Tapping Junction, we are going to catch up with Gary Craig, who is the creator of Emotional Freedom Techniques. We have some really good news about Gary's recovery from his stroke and a brand new amazing resource he's created called the Palace of Possibilities. I'll also share a useful thought field therapy tapping algorithm to release trauma. Hello, Stephen Carter here, your host for EFT Tapping Junction. I do thank you for joining me. This episode will also be shared in the Energy Healing for Well-Being show. Who is this show for? If you use EFT, which of course is Emotional Freedom Techniques, thought field therapy, trauma tapping technique, or any other meridian-based tapping method for your self-care or to help others, this show is for you. By way of brief introduction, over more than 4 decades, I've helped thousands of people move from stress to success using an array of methods, to include, of course, emotional freedom techniques, thought field therapy, neurolinguistic programming. I've earned practitioner certifications in all of these and other methods. To learn more about my background and what we do visit our website at stressreliefradio.com. We're going to start with some really good news about Gary Craig, who you may know is the founder, the creator of Emotional Freedom Techniques. Here is information about a brand new resource Gary has created called the Palace of Possibilities, and I'm going to quote from his most recent newsletter. To our entire newsletter list, our new website is ready to go, and here is the link, and that is to thepalaceofpossibilities.com. Here are some things you might like to check out. Free stuff. Everything we had from the previous website and more. Among other things, you will find key ideas and the Miracle Finder. What Gary is referring to here is his long-standing website that goes back many years, that website being emofree.com. Returning to this new website, second point, training, including the near-free advanced online training. This previously cost $1,500, but because the new platform has dramatically reduced my costs, I can now offer it for $100 or less if you cannot afford that. Incidentally, I will have all of this information linked in the show notes. And returning to Gary's message, number 3, support. You are already on our newsletter list, and we will be adding live streams where you can hang out with me and others, ask questions, learn, and have fun. Gary signs this section, E-Hugs, Gary. Gary adds a P.S. For those interested, here are the highlights of my recent health adventures. In late February, I had a stroke, fell, broke 5 ribs, punctured a lung. Spent 2 weeks in a hospital and 6 weeks in a rehab center. Lots of EFT and OEFT, which is official EFT. Lots of EFT and OEFT surrogate work in my behalf. Thank you. Recovered functionality in about 40% of the expected time. No walker or cane needed. Walk 2 or 3 miles daily. Much more to go. Lost 40 pounds. Need better balance. And I sometimes wobble a bit when I walk. Speech impediment takes twice as long to handwrite something, and that's about it. That communication from Gary, it is absolutely wonderful to know he is on the mend and that he has gifted us with this brand new resource, palaceofpossibilities.com. I'll have more to share about this new website after I've had an opportunity to explore it fully. I do encourage you to have a visit to that website, explore this brand new resource, and again, the website address, palaceofpossibilities.com. You may recall that the original emotional freedom techniques method arose from the foundation of thought field therapy. Back in the early 90s, Gary became a student of Dr. Roger Callahan. Callahan was a licensed psychologist, and he created what would become thought field therapy. The original name Roger gave it was the Callahan technique. However, he later changed that to thought field therapy. Gary was a student of Roger's, and he learned thought field therapy. If I recall correctly, Gary was the very first person to earn the TFT voice technology certification. After working with Roger for a period of time, Gary simplified thought field therapy and turned it into emotional freedom techniques. He was able to promote EFT in a way that Roger was not able to promote TFT, and Gary democratized the process where Roger's approach was quite different. Generally speaking, for each particular type of issue, there is a particular sequence of tapping to mitigate that issue. One of the challenges of learning thought field therapy relates to all of the algorithms that the practitioner needs to remember or to refer to for treating specific issues. In future episodes, I'll dive more into the differences between EFT and thought field therapy. However, if you would like to learn more about thought field therapy and how to apply it, I suggest that you purchase Dr. Roger Callahan's book, Tapping the Healer Within, Using Thought Field Therapy to Instantly Conquer Your Fears, Anxieties, and Emotional Distress. Tapping the Healer Within, Using Thought Field Therapy to Instantly Conquer Your Fears, Anxieties, and Emotional Distress. If you would like to do so, we're going to have a go with a TFT algorithm for complex trauma. This is the closest algorithm to a general application. You can think of it as a general TFT go-to algorithm for many, many emotional issues. Again, I refer you to Roger's book. This by no means is all there is to thought field therapy. However, if you would like to tap along, this will give you a sense of thought field therapy's power and effectiveness. While I invite you to tap along with me, I also encourage you that if you get any sense of overwhelm as we're tapping, then terminate the tapping sequence and seek appropriate help with whatever issue you're experiencing or whatever reaction you're experiencing. We'll begin with bringing to mind the memory of an event that still elicits a significant charge for you. Simply bring it to mind. You don't have to go into detail with it. As a matter of fact, unlike EFT, rarely do you voice any setup statement or any reminder phrase. Simply bring the issue to mind, put it out in front of you at a distance. Just be with that recollection and then check in and get your SUDs level, SUDs being subjective unit of distress. I suggest picking an issue with a SUDs level of no more than 5 or 6. Somewhere between 3 and 5, maybe 6 will work just fine. Recall the memory and assess your SUDs level. Begin tapping on the side of the hand, simply keeping in mind the issue that you've chosen. There's no need to voice any setup statement. Simply bring it to mind, be aware of it, tap the side of the hand, the karate chop point. Next, tap under the nose. Tap under the nose 10 to 15 good solid taps. Move to the eyebrow point. Tap the eyebrow point. Tap under the eye. Tap under the eye. Tap under the arm. The underarm point. Go to the collarbone point and tap there. I suggest tapping collarbone to collarbone and tap up and down the sternum. This feels really, really good. Now tap the tiny finger. This is the beginning of the heart meridian. You're tapping on the tiny finger right at the beginning of the nail on the side of the finger. Go back to the collarbone. Tap the collarbone point. Tap the index finger. Go back to the collarbone. Tap the collarbone point. Next, we'll tap the 9 gamut sequence. To find the gamut point, if you're right-handed, I suggest tapping the left-hand gamut point to begin. Curl your fingers slightly. You'll find the gamut point located between the knuckles of the ring finger and the tiny finger. This is part of the triple warmer meridian system. You'll notice a little indentation in there. Your gamut point is located about a ½ an inch into that point, up toward the wrist. Use 2 fingers in there, and when you tap, you're going to be guaranteed that you'll hit that gamut spot. Again, refocus on whatever your issue is. Continue to tap the gamut point. Close your eyes. Keep your head straight. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Keep your head straight and shift your eyes down to the left. Down to the left. Bring the eyes back to center. Shift your eyes to the right. Shift your eyes to the lower right. And bring your eyes back to center. Keep your head straight. Raise your eyes to the 12 o'clock point on the clock dial and slowly rotate your eyes around the clock face, all the way around, back up to the 12 o'clock spot, and now go counterclockwise. 11, 10, 9, etc., all the way back. Counterclockwise, return to the 12 o'clock position, and close your eyes and open your eyes. Now we're going to hum. Hum a few bars of a favorite song. It could be Happy Birthday or Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Whatever song comes to mind. I'll hum Happy Birthday. Now, count 1 to 5 out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hum again. And we return to the tapping sequence. Tap the side of the hand. Tap under the nose. Tap the eyebrow point. Tap under the eye. Under the arm. Collarbone point. Tiny finger. Collarbone. The index finger. Collarbone. Allow a deep in-breath and a releasing out-breath. And I would always add the word peace. Bring back the presenting memory, the issue, and notice how much your SUDS level has dropped. If you haven't reached a level of 2 or less, then I suggest go ahead and repeat this same sequence a second time. Once you have reached that 2 or less level, to lock in the benefits, we're going to do the floor-to-ceiling eye roll. To do that, tap the Gamut point, keep your head straight, lower your eyes, look at the floor. Slowly, slowly bring your eyes up, straight up, all the way up to 12 o'clock, and close your eyes. Allow a loving in and out breath. Now switch hands. Open your eyes. Tap the Gamut point on the other hand. Drop your eyes to the floor. And bring your eyes up slowly, 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 all the way up to 12 o'clock, and close your eyes. Take one more loving in and out breath, and on the out breath, repeat the word peace. I will have the sequence that we just went through. I'll have that sequence presented to you in the show notes. You'll find videos and other resources listed as well in the show notes. I will also have the link to Gary's new website, The Palace of Possibilities. I'll have that site linked as well. If you have any questions about anything that we've covered in this episode, I encourage you to email me at cartermethod@gmail.com. If you're not yet following the EFT Tapping Junction show or the Energy Healing for Well-Being show, I encourage you to do that where you get your podcasts. Find previous episodes on our website at stressreliefradio.com. Until our next visit together, your host, Stephen Carter, wishing for you and your loved ones blessings in abundance.